Good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to St Benedict's Junior Prep Virtual Open Day. This is a first for us. Normally, we would invite you to our school and show you around our premises because we're very proud of that. Also, you would have got a chance to meet our teachers and see how compassionate and knowledgeable they are, particularly about teaching boys. And of course, your son would have been the VIP for the day. It would have given him an opportunity to engage in some sporting activities with our coaches, join the drumming group because boys love drumming, and also engage in the creative and imaginative play activities that would have been set out for him. But for now, we're going to rely on technology, and I invite you to come along on this journey. My name is Marion McKinnon. I am the head of the St Benedict's Junior Prep. So we're going to be talking a little bit about St Benedict's, and I'll also take you on a virtual tour of the Junior Prep section. There'll be an opportunity for you to ask questions. This is a live stream, so please post your questions below, and we will pause along the way to respond to those questions. So for now, a little bit about St Benedict's, or rather Bennies, as we prefer to be known. So St Benedict's is an independent Catholic school for boys. Our purpose is to develop young men who are holistic and well educated so that they can ultimately participate in the global interconnected world. St Benedict's caters specifically for boys, and we understand boys. We know how they learn, and we know teaching strategies that suit their learning style. So St Benedict's is a choice for you if your boy is somebody who wants to have an opportunity to engage in a variety of different activities. Our school is divided into 3 sections: the junior prep from grade R to 3, the prep school from grade 4 to 7, and the college from grade 8 to 12. I think I could probably add another phase, because when boys leave St Benedict's, they never really leave. We have a very strong old boy connection that stay together beyond their schooling years. So within these 3 sections, even though each phase is very distinct according to the developmental age of each grade, the sections are also very closely aligned in terms of the school vision through strategic planning to ensure that there's a smooth flow from one section to the next. And underpinning all these 3 phases are our 4 pillars. And these 4 pillars are what tie in to develop this holistic education. So I'm going to talk about each pillar: the academic pillar, the spiritual pillar, the sporting, and the cultural pillar, because that ties in right from grade 00 when the boys start to when they leave school. So first of all, the academics. As we know, we do focus on that ultimate matric result, and we're extremely proud of our matric results and the fact that for over 45 years, we've had 100% pass rate. But that achievement does not start in that matric year. And that's why there's such an important focus on the foundation phase. It starts from grade 00, and all the research shows that having a high quality foundation will set children on a good path to ultimately be successful through school. So here at the Junior Prep, we place a focus on setting those foundations in place, and right from the beginning, we're using our active curriculum. This is a curriculum that we have developed, and it's a way of enriching the national curriculum, which we do follow as well. It's a way to apply deeper learning and skills to prepare boys for life beyond school. So we've developed the acronym ACTIVE. So I'm going to talk through each of those letters. The A is for authentic. It's important, particularly for boys, that learning is authentic so that it's meaningful for them, connected in their lives, as well as a real life situation. C is for collaboration. And as you know, this is a very important life skill. For the workplace, we need to be able to work together. And this skill is developed from a very young age. And tying in with the C for collaboration are the other 21st century skills, all starting with C. Communication, an absolute key skill, whether it be on the digital platform, the verbal platform, through meets, through writing. Communication is key. Also creative thinking, critical thinking, these are all part of what the boys learn from a very young age. And these are also the soft skills that need to be developed for the workplace. Moving on to the T. T is for technology. And we know that we need to be ready for a digital world, and technology is introduced at a very young age on a variety of platforms. The I stands for inquiry. This is an approach in learning where we encourage boys to have an inquiring mind so that they are exploring and finding knowledge on their own rather than teachers just presenting content. So we do a lot of inquiry-based learning. The V is for visible thinking. This is an important strategy too. We often tell children, well, think about it, but we don't often teach them how to think. So we work on thinking routines to give structure to thinking paths. And then the E on active is entrepreneurial. And as we know, the economy right now calls on entrepreneurial skills, and so these are factored in from a young age. So moving on from the academic pillar, we go on to the spiritual pillar. As you know, we are a Catholic school, and the Catholic teachings are inculcated throughout our program, not only in the religious lessons, but also on the sport field and in the classroom. We welcome all denominations, but this does underpin the way we teach, because this informs developing morals, sound values, and those important skills that boys need to help understand themselves better and also to develop a relationship with God. The boys in the junior prep will have an opportunity to take their first Holy Communion, if that is your choice. And throughout the program, boys, we place a high focus on developing a set of values. We want to build up good men with integrity, and that's one of our big goals. The third pillar is sport. And we all know that most boys love sport, but our sporting program goes far beyond playing the game. It's an opportunity for boys to learn so many other skills. They learn teamwork. They learn how to win and lose. They learn how to collaborate, how to work together, and important skills like sportsmanship as well. So at the junior prep, our coaches are very specifically tuned to the physical needs of developing sport from a young age. At this level, the boys do learn to play soccer and rugby and cricket and swimming, but there are also essential foundation skills from a developmental point that they need to learn. So they'll learn to build up their coordination, their fitness, their agility, and this is a program that starts from a young age. In terms of our facilities, we're extremely proud of our sporting facilities. Across the whole school, we have indoor pools. We've got 3 swimming pools. We've got rugby fields. We have an indoor cricket centre. We have cricket fields, basketball fields. And at the junior prep, we have a swimming pool where all boys start swimming right from grade 00, running the Learn to Swim program. It's our intention that before boys leave the junior prep, there are competent swimmers. That too is an important life skill. Our third pillar is culture. And this is something that is truly embraced at St Benedict's, because we know that boys love to have this opportunity for creative expression. We have drama, we have art, we have music. Very often in a co-ed school, these sort of opportunities are frowned on because of stereotyping. But at St Benedict's, boys can fully participate and find their passion. Our music department is very strong. At the junior prep, there are lots of opportunities for the boys to enjoy their music. We have a rock band, a marimba band, percussion bands. We have choirs. We also have art clubs. We even have a MasterChef club. So there are many, many opportunities for boys to find their passion and find an expressive outlet. And that pattern goes through right through the school. So as we go on, I'm going to now take a moment to move on to our virtual plan of the school so that I can take you for a walk. I'm going to move into present mode now. Right, so here we are at the entrance to our school. Now, normally this entrance would be a buzz with happy boys, and believe it or not, at this level, boys do love school, and you'd see them running into school, and of course, our parents, very much part of the school life, would also be arriving here. As you can see, there are benches at the side, and after our extramural activities, you'll find boys sitting here in a safe place, waiting for their parents. Our reception is on my right here, and that would be the point of entrance if you were visiting the school. And as the boys arrive at school each day, they see our beautiful mosaic of St Benedict, our patron saint, and it's a quiet, gentle mindset to start the day with the idea of pray and work. I'm going to take a step inside our foyer now, and this is the hub of our school. All our different facilities stem off from our foyer. It's also used as an area for our art exhibitions and various events that we have. Our school hall is on the right, and our reception area and office area would go through that way. As you can see, we have a chapel upstairs. This is the way to the library, and to the left is the path to the classrooms. So for now, we're going to take a step into the hall. Right, as you can see, it's a lovely big space, and it's in here that so many things happen. Here is our stage where we hold our concerts. This is always a very big event as we have an opportunity to showcase the many talents of our boys. Our concerts always involve every single boy, as well as bands, percussion, music, opportunities to dance and sing, and lots of creativity. And of course, our boys are in the element on the stage. The area is also used for our weekly assemblies. We also work on a house system. We have 4 houses, and from a very young age, the boys become very proud of their house. And so at assembly, they would sit with their house so that they can develop that sense of brotherhood with their house. Our assemblies always focus on a moral lesson, and as you know, boys love stories. So there will probably be a story with a lesson and something to discuss. Also at assembly, we love to acknowledge achievements. And not only achievements, but effort too. We love to celebrate when somebody's tried hard, and no matter how big or small that achievement is, we find a place to celebrate that. At the back of the hall, you can see we do have our score chart for our house banners, and the boys love to check in to see how their points are going. So we always can earn points not only for sport. Obviously, our annual sports day is a big event for house points, but we have various cultural events as well as academic events where they can earn points for their house. This hall is also used for various other purposes. We run karate clubs here, speech and drama, and of course, it's a lovely indoor venue when it's raining that we can still enjoy sport. Okay, we're going to step outside the hall, and I'm going to head towards the chapel. So our chapel is a gentle place. There we go. Our chapel is a quiet place where our boys can go and they can learn to develop their spirituality and start to understand what it means to be in a church. We are very lucky to have our own chaplain, and Father Tawo comes regularly to meet with the boys. They certainly look forward to this time, and he's able to connect with them in a way that they understand their religion and their faith, and an opportunity to ask questions and gain a deeper understanding and strengthen their relationship with God. I'm going to take us for a little walk now down. Let's see how this is going to work. Right, here we are in our foyer. This area is, as you can see, there are 2 levels. The downstairs area is for grade 1 classes, which start on this side, and we're going to walk down the corridor towards the grade 2 classes. And as you can see, we love displaying art. We look for any opportunity to display the work that the boys have done and celebrate their creativity. At the end of this corridor, you'll see the stairs going up, and that will take us to the field outside. We'll go there in a moment. But for now, we're going to pop into a grade 2 class to take a look at the setup here. So as you can see, the boys are working in groups. The task that they're busy with here, I'm looking at the board, oh dear, how can the Lego man get to the other side? So this is an inquiry-based activity where the boys are needing to problem solve, work together, use their visible thinking skills to plan and think through their strategy. Each classroom has a lovely private courtyard outside. And as you can see, this is an area that has many, many uses. We often have art activities outside and also small group reading activities, and has a variety of purposes. But I think most importantly, this is the area where the boys would have their lunch. And we do have a separate lunchtime for the boys because we find very often if they run out and play, they may forget to eat. So this is a lovely social time for the boys to just connect with one another and eat their lunch in a relaxed environment. So going back inside the classroom, teachers love to create themes for their classroom, and this classroom has a very nautical theme, and everything is about sailors. I'm just looking here, rules for smooth sailing, and it's a lovely way to just make visible some rules for boys to guide them. But these rules always would be developed collaboratively with the class. We find that if boys have a chance to suggest the rules, they own them, and they certainly do stick to them since they're the ones who came up with them. So throughout the classroom, you will see inspiring comments and the notice board, of course, which provides for incidental learning, where they can read words and information and engage with their learning. All our classrooms will have a reading corner, and this is a key part of the junior primary. Our focus here is to develop a love for reading, because we know that if boys love reading, they will read more. And of course, the more they read, the better they will get. So we have a lot of what we call reading adventures, where boys can engage with books through dressing up, through acting, and of course, getting to grips with their books with a little bit of action too. If we're going to start with the book, we'll often have a little bit of a role play first, so that boys can experience what the book is about. We do know that from grade 3, if their reading is at a competent level, we will then know that their academics will be successful going forward. So at the junior prep, it is our focus to ensure that reading is at a good level at grade 3 level. And I'm very proud to say that we do monitor reading levels very closely on an international reading scale, and our boys on average are all above the chronological age for children. So we're very proud of our reading program and invest a lot in our books. We know that boys will read more if they have a book that they love. And so we take time to invest in the kind of books that boys love. Many of them love non-fiction books. They love to tell you about sharks and dinosaurs. And boys also love adventure books about a little boy just like them, who is brave and has adventures. And boys particularly love funny books and slapstick books. And so we have lots of joke books too. And there's nothing better than seeing a little boy with a book laughing from his belly. So I'm going to leave this grade 2 class, and we're going to take a walk back down the corridor, and we're going to head towards the library. Okay. Right, so here we are in the library. This library is about to be upgraded into a more modern feel, but it's still a very happy and busy place for the boys. And it's just wonderful to see boys bounding up the stairs in the morning to come and change their books. As you can see, lots of inspiring comments. Everyone is a reader. Some just haven't found their favorite book. And so, of course, we are always looking to help that boy find his favorite book. And of course, we love Dr. Seuss. You can find magic wherever you look. Sit back and relax. All you need is a good book. So this library certainly is a very happy place. I'm going to leave the library and walk down the library corridor. And whoops, there we go. And we're going to head towards the computer center. As we're walking there, I see a question has just come up about class size. Our maximum class size here will be 25 boys. And our classrooms are very spacious, and so that does certainly work perfectly for that. Right, here we are at the computer center. Okay, still mastering my driving skills on this technology. Right, here we are, we found our way in. So the computer center is a real hub. The boys love coming here because they certainly love the opportunities they have here. From a very young age, we teach coding. And as you know, this is one of the key skills that that children are expected to learn. It's not only to gear up to be a computer programmer, but to develop important skills in terms of developing logic, problem solving, and it's wonderful to see them develop their little plans through the coding. They are then responsible to troubleshoot, find the error, and fix it. And that, of course, is an essential life skill. We also run computer clubs, which are very, very popular with the boys. They love the opportunity to discover animation, using film, working in 3D. And so we have wonderful programs to facilitate this with our boys. So the boys all come here once a week for an hour. We're a Google school, so they learn Google strategies and using that platform as well. And in fact, during this time, during the lockdown, when we've had remote learning, we've noticed how boys' computer skills have really become enhanced. Google offers a virtual classroom. They've been able to check in to their work, turn it in, correct things, and communicate with the teachers. And we found that they've really developed, and we've loved the way they've learned to start a little dialogue with their teachers. And if their teachers have written a comment about how well they've done, they'll reply and add how hard they tried. And that's a very authentic way of learning and communicating with one another. So we're going to leave the computer center now and walk along our upstairs corridor. And I'm going to take us through this corridor. These are the grade 3 classrooms upstairs, and we're heading out now to the playground. Okay, as you saw, we went past the bathrooms. All right, I think we're almost there. All right, I'm going to take you to another view of the playground at this point. Here is our swimming pool. As I mentioned, all boys learn to swim at school, and there are also opportunities after school for further swimming training. And every boy who leaves the junior prep can say they're a competent swimmer. Here is a view of our playground looking towards the school. As you can see on the left is a shaded area. This is a very popular area for learning too, because we know that boys love to have a change in venue. They love to be inside, outside. Sometimes they like to stand and work. Sometimes they like to sit on the carpet and work. So this is a popular area where we've got tables set up in groups, and they can do group work there as well as creative activities. It's also a place that boys who prefer to sit in the shade. Our playground is a good size for the boys. And as you can see, we have climbing equipment, which is always very popular. From this side, I'm going to just take us back towards the school, and we're going to head now to the grade R section. So as you can see, the grade R's have their own entrance, and this is part of our design. The grade R section is slightly different from the more, and the grade R area is very specifically designed for this age group. I'm waiting for this to load up, but here we go. Okay. All right. While we wait for that to load up, I'm just going to see if I can just go back to the web page here and just access it this way. If you do want to go to the site, just go to admissions and click on take a tour. Okay, we're just booting up the grade R section. And in the meantime, let me just talk you through our grade R program. This is such an important part of the junior primary because this is the year that boys get ready for formal schooling. So it's not only from an academic level that they need to work, we develop them on a social level, on a physical level, and it's here that they learn to develop those social skills, which are so important. They learn to work in a group, because very often at this age, boys do tend to be a little bit more egocentric, and so we need to help them to work together, to be able to listen to each other, and to negotiate their way through. So I'm walking us through the grade R section here. This is the entrance area for the grade Rs. Let's straighten that up. You see this? Okay. All right, so I'm taking you into the grade R section. And as you can see, we have a lot of apparatus for the boys. It's so important that boys develop their large muscles. This is part of a readiness for being in grade 1. They need to develop the strength to be able to sit in their chairs and to be able to concentrate for extended time. And it always starts with the big muscles. So we have the little cabin, we have jungle gyms, we have the trains and various climbing activities. As you see here is a sandpit under the shade, a very popular area for the boys. And you'll see a lot of play-based activities. People often think the boys are just playing, but so much learning happens during play. They're developing those social skills, they're developing their fine motor skills, they're building concepts, they're developing perceptual skills. So all of this is happening in a pretty much an unconscious way. So I'm going to take us for a little walk down the corridor here. The grade R section has 4 classrooms, and each classroom overflows onto a lovely sunny patio. So there's a bit of an inside-outside area which the boys can work through. I'm going to take a step inside the first classroom here, and here we are at the reading corner, and once again, reading is so important. Boys get read stories every single day. This is such an important part of their development, because we know that if they love stories, they are, without realizing it, starting to develop that love of books, but also the development of language. And that is such an important part of learning to read and write. The grade R classroom here, you can see, is full of lovely creative work. We love to show what the boys have done, and as you can see, it's extremely creative. The boys all have their own locker. It's an important skill for them to start developing skills in being organized, in putting things away, and having a little place for everything. As you can see, we have several group tables set up, and we work in a system with small group work. And this works very well, where the teacher can engage with boys, working on their skills, and then other boys are busy with other activities, which they will then rotate through. Our classrooms are very spacious, and I can see, as you can see on the side, is the Lego table. Also, lots of very creative activities for imaginative play. And this is so important for boys too. So they can imagine that they're in an office, or they can imagine that they are Superman, or they can create whoever they want to be. And this is part of building confidence, their own self-confidence, and keeping their imagination alive. The area here is our play area and paint area, and the boys will go there for creative activities which are supervised. Okay, all right, so I think we just about finished visiting the grade R section. I think it would have been so much more fun if you were here to capture the real magic of our school. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye for now, and I'm going to hand us over. Before I do that, I see there are some questions that have just come up. I'm just going to respond to one or two questions here. Right, I see. I'm going to read the question. I have one other school on my radar for my son. What would you say sets St Benedict's apart from other boys' schools? Please help me make my decision. And that comes from Lauren. So, Lauren, I think the thing that probably really sets St Benedict's apart is the fact that we have this balance between our rich tradition, we've been established for over 60 years, and also the fact that we have a very strong drive to be innovative and to stay current. So that institutional knowledge enriches the school and has allowed us to build capacity and experience. And from going forward, our teachers are continually on professional development and best practice programs. So we are always up to date. You won't have a teacher with 20 years experience teaching as he did 20 years ago. So we like to stay current, and our teachers are learning all the time. So I think from here, I'm going to hand over to hear the voices of two of our college boys. You'll meet our head boy, Eden, and one of our other boys, Basti. So over to them.
Good morning. My name is Eden Lazal, and I'm the head boy of St Benedict's for the year of lockdown, 2020. I'd like to share my experience as a Bennies boy at the end of my Bennies school journey. At Bennies, from the get-go, you're encouraged to take a new leap of faith, testing your strengths and discovering your weaknesses. You are surrounded by people that become your family, that encourage you and push you to reach your prime, whether it is on the sports field, in the classroom, or in your cultural events. This is what I am most thankful for. When I look back on my time at Bennies, I take with me an undeniable amount of memories that will forever remain close to my heart. I've had so much fun with all of the amazing experiences I've had at Bennies, and truly, it is the boys around me that have made my memories so special. The bond and brotherhood between the boys at St Benedict's is unlike any other. You make your way through the grades, making new friends that you know will be your brothers for life. The school offers many things, but my favorite is that it offers me a place where I can feel safe and like I belong. I walk into the school with comfort and pride as I wear the badge on my chest. It provides me with a platform from which I'm able to discover where I want to go in life, what I would still like to achieve in the long run, and what type of person I want to be. I know that many other boys echo my sentiment. The staff and boys at Bennies are extremely supportive. For me, in a leadership position, this has been invaluable. Whenever I have felt weak, there's always a person in my corner, rooting for me to overcome the next challenge. St Benedict's as a whole has taught me so much about life, that has made me who I am today. I've been taught to grit my teeth when the going gets tough, because I need to get going. The school has taught me that I am capable of anything, but when I have my friends surrounding me, I am able to do everything. I've learned that nobody is alone. Every boy walks the corridors, knowing that we have each other's backs. St Benedict's has also allowed me to grow closer to God. We learn about the impact that God has on our lives and the love He has for each and every one of us. Having the opportunity to go overseas next year to play rugby and do what I love is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I started playing rugby at under 14 B level, and over the years it has taken me lots of extra hours and help from coaches as well as teammates to get where I am now. It is never easy. There have been times where I've felt like I would never have gotten the opportunity like this, but I was told to keep going and never stop. I kept training and working hard, but I still failed. That's just how life works. I kept at it, and in the long run I persevered. This is testimony to the fact that each boy can be who he desires to be through the support received here at St Benedict's. If you would like your son to be a part of the St Benedict's Brotherhood, I can promise you will not regret it. The people that make up Bennies are what make our school what it is today. I can proudly say, Bennies Talada.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebastiano Bolo, or as most people call me, Basti. I'm a grade 12 pupil at St Benedict's College this year. My life at Bennies probably started long before I was born, when my uncle was enrolled into Standard 2 in 1978. A couple of years later, my father joined Bennies, and the school has been part of our family's lives ever since. Academics have always been the main focus at Bennies, and I've always had the benefit of excellent teachers and facilities which have allowed me to achieve great results. But for me, since my first day in grade R, Bennies has always been a place that was much more than what I was taught in the classroom. Bennies is so much more than a school. It is a place at which you can be everything you want to be. I was that kid who took part in almost every activity that I could. In the junior prep, it went from karate to chess, choir to cricket, drama to soccer, and yes, even though I was a foot shorter than most of my peers, even mini rugby. I remember my years in the junior prep as being so much fun. Once I moved into the senior prep, things did become a bit more serious. Teachers were a bit stricter this side of the road, and you had to start picking which extramural activities you could take on. My academics remained good, and while I will always remember my teachers fondly, they weren't as strict as I'd first thought. As I became a young adolescent, I started to develop a love for public speaking and for drama. I had many opportunities to be on stage and to take part in speech competitions. And I think these aspects helped me to become a more confident person. On the sports field, I had to take early retirement from my budding rugby career and started to focus more on hockey and soccer. I'd also played water polo for a term, but my family tends to not travel very quickly through the water unless we're in a boat. So I soon became involved in rowing. And as I'm not really built for power, after a few regattas, it became clear that my talents would be better put to use coxing a crew. Being part of the rowing club and crew would be one of the many defining aspects of my school career as I moved into the college. Moving into the big school was an exciting time. In grade 7, we had been the big shots. In grade 8, we were suddenly the tadpoles again. And to add an extra dimension, there were lots of new boys who had joined from other prep schools. Fortunately for me, the culture at Bennies has always been very inclusive. At the time, I was pretty sure I knew all of the matrics by name. I'm sure I didn't actually know even half of them. But I think that in a relatively big school, the fact that I had that perception says a lot about the feeling of belonging and fraternity I've always felt. Academics, as always, were of paramount importance, and whenever I applied myself properly, the results were excellent. Sometimes I prioritized other activities, and my mom and I would argue about whether I was doing too much. The reality is that I loved every minute of the speaking, the acting, and the sport in which I was involved. Bennies has given me the opportunity to be a national champion in rowing many times over, tour the world for South African schools and for Bennies, attend the National Eisteddfod Awards for public speaking, act in the country's top play festivals, compete provincially in hockey and soccer. The list just goes on and on. I can't say I excelled at every activity in which I took part, but I got the opportunity to be the best me I could be and the freedom to choose when to step back. As I look back, it all went very quickly. I have close friends who I met 13 years ago, and equally, close friends who joined Bennies in grade 8 or even later. It's hard to imagine a life without coming to Bennies each day. I can honestly say that once the schools reopened after lockdown, I couldn't wait to get back. In a few months, my Bennies journey will be over, but I will be back as an old boy. And if one day I have a son, as a parent, my blood is red and blue. Thank you.
Wow, I feel immensely proud when I see how accomplished those boys have become. And that's what we talk about, that holistic, well-rounded boy. It was wonderful to hear there seemed to be a common thread in their talk. They love the brotherhood, the opportunities at school, and ways where they can find their passion, find their element, and excel in that. I have to say, it was quite emotional for me to watch Busty talk, because I remember him well from grade R. And he was always that kid who wanted to do it all, try it all, and he had that exuberance and enthusiasm. And he talks about doing so well in his public speaking. And I remember that started in grade R with show and tell, when he brought his big dinosaur to school to tell the boys about the T-Rex. So thank you to those boys. We wish them well. They're about to start writing matric in very different circumstances. And we do send our very, very best wishes to them. Now we're going to move over to hearing the voice from some of our junior prep parents and boys. And I know they too are talking from the heart. Thank you.
St Benedict's is really an incredible and amazing school, and I'm so very grateful that my son gets to go there. It is a school that has stood the test of time, and yet in this ever-changing world that we live in, has been able to adapt, diversify, and come out on top. It has a staff full of dedicated, passionate, wonderful teachers who build up each child individually. It has lovely classrooms, amazing sports fields, incredible amenities, and a vast variety of extramurals both in the class and after school, thus allowing each child to find something that they're passionate about. It is a school that allows for diversity, promotes individuality, and has Christ at its centre, which is so very important to me. A school that has a wonderful sense of community and togetherness. My uncles went to the school, my brother went to the school, and I'm so very grateful that my son gets to go there now too. I really, really love the school.
I love St Benedict's. My husband and I could not have chosen a better school for our kids. A few years ago when we moved into the area, someone recommended that we look at St Benedict's, and we've been happy ever since. As a mother of 3 boys, I like the fact that the school actually caters for all their interests.
We have been at St Benedict's for the past 4 years, and we don't just see the school as a school, we see it as a family and a community where the boys have made such good friends. The teachers are amazing, they really know how to teach boys with their interesting and innovative ways of teaching. The facilities at St Benedict's are great. We have lots of fields, a swimming pool, there's a library, there's a computer center, lots of space in the classrooms, even outside areas off the classrooms, which the kids love to play in. There's also lots of activities over and above the schoolwork, either in school or after school, lots of sports, culture clubs, chess, choir, music, and lots more. We are very happy to be sending our boys to St Benedict's because we know that it's a safe and happy environment where they can learn and grow.
As an old ex-Bennies boy, 20 years back, I'm thrilled my son is at Bennies. I enjoyed my school experience and I hope he will for the rest of his time at Bennies.
Samuel, do you like St Benedict's?
Yes.
Do you like your friends?
Yes.
Oh, do you like playing on the playground?
Yes.
Do you like your classroom?
Yes.
And tell me, what's your teacher's name?
Miss Senate.
Okay. We enrolled Samuel in St Benedict's when Samuel was still in his mommy's tummy. He was this big. And we decided we want him in a good school, not just any school. We love St Benedict's. St Benedict's is a structured school that's very disciplined. They've got all the best sports, education, and we want to make sure our son gets the best education in the country.
I like St Benedict's because the teachers are fun and awesome, and I have good friends there. I like the playground, it's fun and nice, and I like all the extramurals. St Benedict's is the best school I could ever have.
I love St Benedict's because of the maths. The maths is very cool. It's my favorite project.
Hello, I am Joshua Michael. I am a Bennies boy. The reason I like St Benedict's that it teaches us about God. I like my teacher there and my friends. Hello, my name is James Michael. I am a Bennies boy. The reason I like Bennies is because I get to see my friends every day and I learn new things and I like my teachers.
I love being a Bennies boy. It's so much fun. And I love the teachers. They're so nice. And I love the school because it's so much fun. It's striking.
I love being a Bennies boy because they have caring teachers, wonderful sports, and I've made lots of good friends. Go Bennies!
Thank you to our amazing parents and boys. And I think what I definitely hear a lot from parents is that they do feel that sense of connectiveness and welcomeness at our school. And we know that if our boys are happy, everything else falls into place. So one thing about St Benedict's is that parents are our partners. And so we invite you to join us because it's a lifelong journey that we go together. We know that when the parents and the school are aligned, that's when our boys will thrive. And with parents and boys believing in them before they believe in themselves, there is a wonderful future ahead for those boys. So I'm going to take a moment now to respond to some questions, but that does conclude the more formal part of our program. So please stay online if you would like to hear the replies to some of the questions. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read what I have here. The first question is asking, I'm sold on a boys' school, but my husband isn't. So why a boys' school? I think that's such an important question. And there's enough research for us to understand that boys do learn differently. And so we need to gear up their learning style to fit with them. Here in the junior prep, as I've mentioned, we have a great passion for developing a love for reading. And very often boys get quite demoralized in school because girls, just by the way they're developing faster, their language skills develop and their reading skills become refined a lot earlier. And so when you have a girl reading at an advanced level, boys often feel, I'm going to give up. So here it's all about working only on the level of boys. We also know that they love being more active. If you walk into a grade 1 class, you won't see boys practicing their words from a list. They will be jumping over the words because that's just the way their brains work. We also know that from a boy's point of view, they love to move a lot. So we have in the middle of our sessions a little brain break to allow the blood to flow, get them focused again, and those are the sort of actions that we involve to help boys learn better. Another area that I think is very important is very often in a co-ed school, as I mentioned earlier, are the stereotypes. At a boys' school, there are no stereotypes. And an example here is our choir. We have over 50 boys in our choir. They sing with absolute passion and enjoyment. And we've gone to choir festivals in co-ed schools, and you might just find a small group of boys who are in the choir because they love singing, but it's not really welcomed. So a boys' school is a place for every boy, and he can thrive on whatever level he's at. I hope that does answer your question, but please feel free to contact me if you'd like to chat further about that. I have another question here about the school time. School starts at 7:30, but boys obviously may arrive earlier and they'll be supervised. School ends at 1:10 for grade 1s and 2s. For grade R's at 1 o'clock and grade 3's 20 to 2. We also have extramurals most afternoons. We allow boys to do sporting as well as cultural activities. And we encourage that because that is part of our holistic development for boys. And so if they do extramurals, that generally will be an extra hour after school. There are also private activities such as karate and speech and drama and robotics that boys can join. And of course, there's the swimming group and clubs. So it's a school with lots of opportunities. And with our clubs, we allow boys to choose a club just for a term so that they have an opportunity to try out different things. I have another question here. Support for boys who require help. And we know that boys all develop at a different rate. And so sometimes boys do need a little help to get them up to speed, and we have numerous structures in place for that. We have a specialized academic support teacher, and she works with boys either individually or in small groups according to their need. And we also have sessions where our deputy head, who's head of academics as well, takes small group sessions where she goes into the class and just works on boys who need an extra skill. Very often we identify where the lag is, and with a little bit of help, we can close those gaps. I'm going on to the next question here. The question is, we aren't a Catholic school, and, we aren't Catholic, and so question mark. So as I mentioned, we're a Catholic school, but we welcome families of all denominations. We follow the Catholic Christian faith, and for all our boys, it's about developing moral values. We're not here to convert families to Catholicism, but I think the spiritual development of boys is so important. And from a very young age, they learn those values, they learn about respect, they learn about integrity. And that's part of our Christian guidance. I see another question here on the COVID safety. I think we're all very conscious of where we're at with that. One of our greatest priorities during this time is the safety of our boys, of our parents, of our staff. And we have actually formed a safety team so that we are fully compliant, in fact, beyond compliant, to ensure safety standards. At the moment, boys arrive at school. We're very conscious of the social distancing. They are shown where to stand while they get screened. Every boy will have his temperature taken twice during the day. We've got sanitizers all over the school, and that's become part of our routine. Boys sanitize going into class. They also all have their own little sanitizing pack. They are responsible for cleaning their own desks, wiping down their stationery, and making sure that everything is absolutely sanitized. It's very important. Our playtime has created challenges, but through putting our heads together, we've come up with strategies to ensure that the boys do social distance at break. Our playground is now divided into 3 sections, and there will be a teacher in each section keeping an eye on boys. One thing I have to say, they've been so creative, because some games they can't play anymore because they do love to run and tackle and catch each other. But for now, they've invented new games that conform with the social distancing. And we make sure that our boys wear masks, and we have systems in place that we are monitoring on an ongoing basis. So it has changed the way we do things, but our boys are well spaced out in the classroom, and we're confident that we're doing the very, very best we can in the circumstances and ensuring safety. I do see another question here that's come through. Okay, this comes from Stacey. What is St Benedict's take on diversity, and how do you make sure that boys are accepting and loving of others who are different to them? I think in our current context where we find ourselves, a very, very valid question. So Stacey, there's so many levels on this. When we talk about the junior prep level, we start always from a point of respect, that every single person needs dignity and honor. And that ties in with our Christian values, that God has created us all equal, that He's created us in His image, and that we do love our neighbor. St Benedict's has also been very proactive over the years, in fact for several years, in terms of developing policies, developing workshops, so that as staff that we are trained on promoting diversity. We know also that we can celebrate our differences, and we also celebrate our sameness. And this is a way at this level that works so well for boys. And our approach is always not to judge people or make assumptions by what they look like, but make the effort to understand them, find the story of the person inside, find what they love, what they don't enjoy, about their families. And we find that we will have so much more in common. We know that boys love stories, and there are wonderful books that we include in our program where we can talk about diversity and allow boys to have that conversation, because it does need to start at a very, very young age. In fact, I personally love reading books to stories with boys and having deep conversations, and I've just ordered a beautiful book called Wings, which covers that topic in a way that boys can talk about it and understand it. And we certainly don't shy away. But I think our most important message is that each person is absolutely valuable and on an equal status. Are there any other questions at this point? I'm going to stay online in case there are any other questions, but I would like to just take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. It was a different experience having a virtual open day, but I really look forward to a time when we can welcome you properly at our school, because then you will experience the atmosphere, the love our teachers have for what they do, the enthusiasm of our boys who love their school, and of course our parents who are our partners. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.